Hello guys and welcome back to my Formula 1 Power Rankings. Today we will rank the teams after the 2025 British Grand Prix. In P10, although they got their best season result with a P6 of Pierre Gasly, is still Alpine. They almost doubled their points, but Colapinto crashed again in qualifying and could not start, which is unfortunate because of the way Gasly scored high points in this race. They seem stronger in rainy conditions than in the dry, but the normal race pace is clearly not good enough. Also, there are rumors that the team is for sale. P9 is Haas, who had the pace but didn't get any points in Britain. They finished P11 and P13. Behrman was super quick, but he made too many errors. One, and the biggest of them, was of course the red flag crash in the free practice. He got P8 in qualifying, but then got the 10th place penalty for the crash. Then he crashed in the race with his teammate, but he still managed to get P11, so the pace for points was there. Ocon crashed on lap 1 after kind of mid-qualifying. He crashed with Lawson and Tsunoda, could not do much about it. He also got a kind of out-of-sync strategy, was in the points with old Inter tires, and in the end he just went backwards, and their competitors got a lot of points, so they lost ground in the championship. P8 is Aston Martin with their first double points finish of the season. Seems like although they got double points, there was more on the line, especially Alonso's strategy was far from perfect. Stroll executed a good strategy but got high tire wear in the last piece of the race, so in the end they finished P7 and P9. P7 in this ranking is VCarb, and I think this race showed that they have two rookies at their lineup because they both have had a double DNF after a collision each. Their car is certainly fast, but the last couple of races they struggled to get into Q3, especially with both cars, and also Isaac Hadjar had a few bad results in the last couple of races. P6 is Sauber, who after the double Q1 exit started not that great into the weekend, but of course then Nico Hülkenberg's P3 happened, was a perfectly executed race. Bortoleto kind of had a risky start with the strategy on wrong tires and dry tires, and of course he spun then and DNF'd. And Hülkenberg also scored his fourth consecutive race in a row, and with that kind of form they could still finish Williams for P5 in the constructors. P5 of course is Williams, and they finally scored points again after a couple of races where they didn't, but Albon's P8 also feels like a bit of a missed opportunity, especially considering that Sainz was colliding with Leclerc, and Sainz was also quicker in qualifying and in front of Albon the entire race. They missed a lot of points that season by errors, considering their drivers, the team and car failures, so they have to figure out this. In P4 is Red Bull, and I think they would have performed a lot better in a dry race. Tsunoda didn't score again. Verstappen should have finished P3 without the spin. And finally this resulted in Christian Horner being fired after 20 years as team principal, and also after many championships and race wins, which indicates that the team is clearly in rebuild mode right now. P3 is Mercedes, who had no pace this weekend. I think Russell outqualified the car with the P4 result. Then they made strange strategy decisions, especially on Russell's side of the garage. Russell started on after the formation lap, so he pitted basically on the formation lap, and he kind of gave up his P4 with this. And also a strange decision of them was pitting for the hard tires instead of maybe the mediums or soft. Antonelli was crashed out by Hadjar, so it was not his fault, but he was also not going forward with the strategy, so they need to look into it. Ferrari kind of had decent pace in the dry conditions. Leclerc was nowhere in the wet. He made so many mistakes. I think it was the worst race of him in a long time. Hamilton kind of tamed the difficult car on this home track. I think for him the podium was possible with a better strategy. And also I have to remember the last race where Ferrari actually was good in the wet, and I can't remember right now. P1, of course, McLaren another 1-2. They seemed kind of beatable in the dry sessions, but they were so far ahead in the wet race. And we also have to consider that a lot of other teams underperformed because the next best driver was in a Sauber, which is no mean feat to Nico Hülkenberg, but Clearly, normally he is not the third best driver or car on the grid. If Piastri would have received a 5-second penalty instead of 10, there would have been a big fight for the win between the teammates, but unfortunately it was 10 seconds. Piastri seemed quicker this weekend, but Norris made no mistakes, and this indicates a tight championship battle for the rest of the season. These were my team rankings after the British Grand Prix. Tomorrow we will rank the drivers. Hope to see you guys then, and goodbye.